Hey there, happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to Power 30. So today I was kind of, in between cleaning and thinking and doing. I'm always doing something. And I laid there today and I was just like, what do I want? Like, who am I and what do I want? Like, who am I outside of all the titles? I know I'm a mom. I know I'm an instructor. I know that I'm a helper. I know that, I can cook. I know that I am, doing a lot of things, but like, who am I? And so I really kind of took a moment and just thought about it. And I'm wondering if you guys have done that too. Like, if you've ever just sat there and been like, who am I? Like, seriously, who am I? Outside of titles, outside of what people say, outside of what, sounds cute or whatever, like, literally, like, who are you? And I mean things like, you know what? I'm thoughtful. I'm supportive. I enjoy the outdoors. Like, to literally run a resume on yourself. Not, kind of like you do for a job, right? You talk about all these skill sets and why they should hire you and all this and all that. But have you really ever done that for yourself? And I think over the years it kind of changes, which it should. You should definitely increase your merit and your personality and your character and add to yourself, constantly. So I think it should change. I think your little self resume should change from time to time. And I know for me, it's definitely been better through the years, and I'd say for the majority of people, that's the case, is that you just get better and better and better, and that's a great thing. That's what we're all striving for. Speaking of striving, while we're striving and we're figuring out who we are and what we really mean, and all this wonderful things, I think that's a foundation that we forget in life, because you go through school and you go through this, you go through that, and they teach you things, right? And so they teach you subjects. They teach you, stand in line for lunch. They teach you, but we're never really taught to understand who we are, and because it really can't be taught. That would be like, what, you have 50 people in class. That would be 50 different lessons that really one can't teach. It's actually a journey. It's not something that can be taught. So, whatever your journey has done for you, the one thing I want to tell you is the closer you get to being the best you, and the harder you fight for your dreams and for the things that you want, the harder the battles you're going to face. And I mean this because, one, you're going to have more to lose. Once you start to really hone in and harness who you are, and the value increases, and you become even better and stronger than you've ever been, you feel like you got more to lose now. If you think back to the different eras of your life, you're like, okay, when I was 10, I rode my bike off a ramp into a wall, into a dirt pile. Like, it was great. I loved it. I wouldn't do that today, but still, now you've increased your worth, or now you just become more valuable. Like, our knees and our hips probably couldn't take a crash that it took at 10 at 30 or 40, so we increase, as we should, and so you have more to protect. So what happens is that, you got to understand that the enemy knows what your sweet spot is, just like anything else. Like, I guess we think that when we get to a certain point, we're living with purpose, we're living in happiness, we're living in the way that we should, that all the little tests in life and all the little enemies are just gonna, they're just gonna go away and be like, oh, you know what, she figured life out, she's happy, we're just gonna go find somebody who's not happy. Now, I will say the breakthrough getting to people who aren't happy and who aren't satisfied and who aren't where they should be in life is probably a little bit easier than breaking through to somebody who's basically fought to become who they are. We get a little more protective, which is okay. You should. I mean, don't get callous and bitter and, put yourself in a little box because you're afraid that something's going to do you wrong, because we learn through pain. We don't want it. We shouldn't always have to have it, but, we do learn through pain as well. And you should use that into a good strategy in your life instead of a bad one. So you have to remember that. For instance, like, we all have different levels of weakness. So maybe you have a spending problem, right? You like to spend. So then all of a sudden, right when you have a little bit of extra cash, you see this huge sale and oh my gosh, all the stuff in the store is just what you wanted. It's what you've been thinking about. So you go and say, oh, this must be a sign. This is how I'm going to save money, because that's on sale and I only have this amount of money. So wow, this stuff's really working out. It's giving me the opportunity to save and help with my spending problem. No, that was temptation saying you made a decision to stop spending. I want to see if you stay true to that decision. So here goes the sale. What did you do? You went for the sell, right? So maybe you have a problem with, picking bad relationships, right? So you start wanting somebody and you're like, I just want a good guy. I just want him to be good to me, Then all of a sudden you meet, this guy, John, in line one day getting a Subway right before, work or at lunch or something. And you drop something, he picks it up. He's a really nice guy. He seems like a really nice guy. So what happens? You and John get to talking. John becomes the same type of guy that you just got rid of. And you're like, well, how could this keep happening? I just wanted a nice guy. That's what you got. You got a nice guy. You didn't get the guy for you, but you got a nice guy. And here's the other thing, like, if you know that your heart is your weakness, then don't you think the enemy is going to go straight for your heart? He's going to show you something. He's going to go to your weakness. Like, what, you think you're better than Adam and Eve? I mean, just asking, because temptation started a long time ago. So that hasn't changed. But I think, like I said, we get this thing in our mind where we're like, nah, I'm following the right path in life. I know who I am. I'm exercising the greatest of who I am. And so, temptation is out the door. It's not, it's not going to bother me. No, it doesn't rest. It doesn't rest because you get better. You don't become so scary that temptation runs from you. That's not how it works. In fact, the bigger and the better you get, the more tempting you become to temptation. The more hungry, the enemy is for your dream. The more hungry they are to throw everything at you. And then you're like, oh, why can't I catch a break? You guys, either way, you're not going to catch a break. Whether you're following your dreams, doing what you need to be doing, becoming a better person, listening to your value, becoming your worth, temptation's not going to stop. Now, if you're doing what you shouldn't be doing and you're running amok and you're doing what temptation's still going to follow you. So you're not obsolete. You're not too good for trial. You're not too good for temptation. It doesn't happen. Like, it's going to happen to the best of everybody, which is why it takes me back to the very first lesson, which was to make sure you train your mind. The biggest battle is, what do they say? The battle of the mind. That is not a joke, you guys. It's not a joke. And guess what? It's nowhere to be taught other than in self-discovery. And you have to go learn that part yourself. They'll give you everything else in society. They'll give you everything else in school. But learning who you are and how to battle the things that are actually going to happen to you throughout life, you have to be, part of self-discovery, which is why I've always encouraged in all of my videos to read. Read. Go read. And you're like, oh, Amy, but how do we know who's right to read? And what I found is that a lot of times when something's right, you just know. And again, I actually did a Power 30 on that, about trusting your gut a little bit, your instinct, whatever word you want to use for it. But when your inside tells you something, that part, you're usually right on track. There's a lot of great speakers out there. There's a lot of great self-help motivational speakers out there. You just got to really find the one that serves you. In fact, I happened to have caught Les Brown live today on Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, Les Brown. Like, I love Les Brown. And so you just got to find who it is that has the same type of, values. Now, stay away from trying to find you in something else. Find something different, because you'll add to yourself. You'll add different colors to your life if you allow yourself to be open. And to explore different types of things and people and experiences and all that good stuff. Because if you don't grow, if you don't, you don't grow standing still. If you have a plant, you're not just going to leave it on the porch and tell it every day, grow, grow, grow. No, you have to actually go through the process of watering the darn thing. And then if it gets too big, you got to repot it and you got to do all that. So, it's the same thing with you. You're not going to sit there and go, oh, I really should do this. I really should. No, you got to go do it. Go grow, go expand, go take, the heart of who you are and go put yourself into another pot, because you became so large with new self-worth and new understanding and newfound goodness. So you do want to do that. The other thing I want to talk about, and then I'll go ahead and get off of here, is be careful with people and their flattery and their cheerleading. And I say this because sometimes we like to feel appreciated, and we like to feel that people are loving what we do. We like to feel the hype of the fan crowd, or the love from people, or whatever it is. But you have to be careful with that, because you'll fall in love with that instead of realizing that the majority of the people that you're helping are the silent ones that may never say nothing. So you need to be careful going, oh, well, I know that they're a big supporter because of what they say or what they did or how they act. You know, be careful with that, because they'll pull you away from your real self at times. Those ones that overly do it, they try to take your attention away. Now, some of them don't realize they're doing this, and other ones, you know, again, it's another visit from the enemy. They want you to feel, if feeling good is your weakness, what are they going to do? They're going to make you feel great, not even good. So make sure that you're paying attention to that, because not everybody's intention for you is good. You know, attention's okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't be applauded for what you do. Remember, I'm the one who tells you to go celebrate yourself. But what I'm saying is be careful, because it's just not safe sometimes. So make sure that, you know, you're around honest people with honest intentions that can actually help build you. You know, and when I say build you, you guys, I'm not talking, everybody's going to have a different place in your life. They're going to have a different reason to be there. Some people are just going to be that sandpaper you need to get out the edges. Some people are just going to be the really soft voice, or the soft, you know, encouragement, and they don't know how to say no, but they know how to encourage you. You're going to have all that. And once you find a good balance, a good team, you know, it's like with a band, right? Once you get the right people in there, gosh, the music just sounds so great. So that's the same thing with your life. You get people that will play different instruments in your life, and you know, and you'll have a wonderful band, and it'll sound beautiful because everybody took place in your life. It's a whole assembly, and you'll be an assembly for somebody else too. And I encourage you, when you do find an opportunity to be an asset to somebody's life, that you take pride in the position that you're in. You know, if you're the one that's supposed to tell them every day, you know, you could do better, or if you're the person that said you did great today, or whatever your position in somebody's life is, that you be well-rounded, and that, you know, don't squat on people in your life. Don't do that, because you need to be an active member of their life. If they've included you in your life, you know, be active in their life. Because if you're not trying to encourage them, you know, you're surely not, you're being an anchor, and you should really try to encourage and help them go further. Even if it's just a simple, hello, how are you? I thought of you today. You'd be surprised how far that type of thing goes. You know, and the other thing is, when you do make a bad decision, because earlier we were talking about, you know, the enemy finding you. And when you find out that that was a deliberate act of the enemy, and you find that out, you guys, you can correct it. You can. And you can learn from it, right? But some of you, what happens is you feel obligated to stay in that poor choice. You're like, oh, well, you know what? It wasn't their fault that I didn't really do that or whatever. Don't do that. You're not a hero for owning and staying with and staying in a bad decision. You're not. The hero comes from you saying, I realize that this isn't for me, and it's not going to do me or you any good. Sometimes we'll go too far about wanting to hurt people's feelings, and in that, we start pulling ourselves down. You guys, it's okay to be an adult. It's okay to say, this isn't going to work. It's okay to say, you know, I don't know where I'm at right now. It's okay to say, maybe later. It's okay. You know, and there's going to be those people that are going to try to push you against the fence and say, okay, no, this is what I want, or else. And sometimes you're going to have to walk from certain things in your life. No matter if it's a job, a relationship, a situation, you're going to have to walk. And it's not always going to feel good. You know, that's the other thing, is we don't want to sit there and be like, oh, well, it hurt. Well, okay. So, I mean, even childbirth hurts, but by the time it's done, you'd give the world for that child. But it was painful. But it was painful. You guys, we're blessed people. We're here. You know, you have to make the best of it. You really do. You have to make the best of it. And it starts, honestly, with embracing who you are. Ask yourself that. Today, when you're sitting on the couch, when you're laying in bed, maybe tonight, and it's just you and that pillow, I want you to look up and I want you to say, who am I? Who am I? And then just see if you can answer that for yourself. Do it. It'll be interesting. I did it today myself. So, and we should do it often. Remember, at least 1 to 2 times per day. I can, I will, and I am worth it. God bless you.